on, y'all? It's your boy Gibbons here.
Will C.
And welcome to yet another episode of the Achromous Podcast, episode 84. Thank you for joining us, whether you're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you are hearing your podcast. We thank you for listening. If you are watching, that means one thing and one thing only. You were watching us on YouTube. So before you do anything else, like listen to this amazing episode we got put aside for you, I need you to do three things for me. I need you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. So the next time you hop on YouTube and you're scrolling down your feed, this episode or many of the gems that we have in all of our other episodes will be available for you to watch. And most of all, we'll see.
It is free to do so.
Ridiculous.
Subscribe, free to like our content, free to turn on that notification bell, and also free to share it. And just to give a little more insight on subscription and what that sounds like, right? It does sound like you're being charged something, but I assure you, this is free. No charge at all, right? So it's just letting us know that you enjoy our content so that you get a notification of receiving it and knowing that you'll be one of the first people privy to be able to get some of those gems and absorb it and then pass it along too. Mm-hmm. So again, it's free to do those things. So that's what we're hoping that you'll do.
Absolutely amazing. We'll see. Sometimes all of us, we're all on YouTube, right? We're probably watching this on YouTube now. And I'm sure in some videos that you've seen, you'll see ads that pop up that they're trying to sell you this sort of lifestyle entrepreneurship thing that they got going on. They'll say to you, of course, it's $500 to buy it. And they probably give you things that you can type in Google right now and find the answers to. We pride ourselves here at Achromous with the Achromous Podcast to deliver content that you cannot find online. Now, the internet's a wide place, so it's possible that maybe on page 74 of a Google search, you might find some of the things that we talk about, but we're basing everything that we discuss on the Achromous Podcast on our experience or our relationships with others that we've been in contact with. So all of it is based on that. It's based on honesty. It's based on realism. It's based on authenticity. And we are giving these gems to you without a cost. So make sure, if there's anything at all that you do when you're listening or watching or interacting with our podcast at all, just put these things into action, man. Like that will literally bring joy to our hearts. If you take the gems that we're putting out there, act on them, and then share those gems with people that you know, your family, your friends, anybody. Share it with them. Let them know the truth of what goal setting can do, what healthy habits can do, and what really understanding your purpose looks like, man.
Yeah, very well said, Jay. It really is just that simple, guys. We're not trying to complicate anything here or make it more than what it is. The truth of the matter is self-development is what we're all about, and really focusing in on you and allowing you to be able to recognize your potential and being the best that you could be for you. Because if you're the best you could be for you, then everyone else around you will benefit from it as well. So it's really important to just take hold, shape some of those tools that you have in your shed, and just do what you can to be better, because you can choose to do it, more importantly, right, Jay?
That's big. Choosing, right? Literally choosing, making decisions, making choices. And I know throughout our days, we go to work, some of us play with our children, you sit down and eat dinner with your family. Like all of those things are choices that you make, right? And sometimes if you are purposeful for some of the choices that you must make in order to reach your purpose quicker, then it is absolutely necessary for you to make those decisions. It's necessary for you to understand the choices that you're making. And when I say understand it, I mean know that with every choice, with every decision that you make comes some sort of consequence, whether good or bad. So it's important that when you're making these choices, you understand, okay, my path, I have moved a step closer to where I need to be instead of a few steps back. Just always make sure you know where you're going, because if you're just walking aimlessly, man, there's nowhere you will end up. It's like you're walking on a treadmill. Eventually you'll have to get off, or you'll get thrown off from the speed of things. So I feel as though, especially this week, from a recap of last week's episode, if you did not get a chance to tune into episode 83, we had a very powerful guest on, Dr. Sandra Lipinski. She talked about her life coming over from Guyana, South America, over into the U.S. And this is way before technology and the I should say the expediency of all the immigration side of things. Back then, it was just much more difficult. But for her to build a life based on the dreams that she was having herself and purposefully choosing to make those dreams come true, it was a very powerful episode. The people she's been able to meet along the way, the advice that she's been receiving and has been giving out to our community is immense. So we want to thank her once again for coming on and showing what a true powerful woman looks like.
Oh, very true. There was so much to take away from last week's episode, and just a great reflection of, your story is that of your own. Is what you mold and shape it to be, and you define your legacy as you go along the way, and just remembering the power of choice. I feel like was a great takeaway from it, and to just remain consistent and committed to yourself, and in doing so, you'll generate the best results. Another good pointer that I felt like wanted to emphasize on that as well was just the fact of like recognizing that none of it's going to come easy, because as it was mentioned, it isn't easy. And as you know, your own personal life to today, a lot of the adversity you face isn't easy, but a lot of it is a mental fortitude. It's a battle within. So you have to kind of check that at the door and figure out how you're going to address that, and allow yourself to build the strength and the maturity that you need to deal with things emotionally, and just kind of put things really in perspective and just kick that gear into high motion and just do it. Whatever it is, just do it. Just move on it. That's a lot of what we, shared and was privy to have those gems dropped on us, Jay. So if you haven't had an opportunity to check it out, please go back and have a listen, because we assure you there's something for everyone.
Absolutely, we'll see. There's something for everyone in that episode, many of the other episodes that we've been able to be fortunate enough to bring to you. And that's kind of where we are in this week's episode. We wanted to take some time, as you probably know, we were scheduled to have a guest on, but with some scheduling conflicts, we're most likely will push it over to next week. So of course, next week, Sunday, on the Achromous Podcast, we will have Russian-born artist, songwriter, musician Ronald Ray joining the Achromous Podcast. So that will be episode 85 of the Achromous Podcast. But this week, we wanted to take some time out to really explain exactly who we are. Now, I know at the end of all the episodes that we have, we go through the spelling of our name each and every time. For those of you who are joining us for the very first time, or those who have been here and still do not know what it is that we do. So I wanted to take a step back today and really go back to our roots and make a couple announcements that will help you understand who we are a bit more. First announcement, of course, is the place that Will C and I live virtually, if you will. It is the home of all things Achromous. It is, of course, the Achromous Fitness website, achromousfitness.com. Make sure you guys write that down or type it in your notes to go back and visit. And we want to be crystal clear here. Besides some of the products that we have on the site for you, whether it's leggings, swimsuits, shirts, notebooks, bottles. There's so many different accessories to help you along with your journey when it comes to fitness or just life in general. But beyond that, we also have a blog that we're running. And on this blog, you can get a lot of new information about the industry, new information about exercises that you've always wanted to do in the gym, but maybe you didn't really know how, and you were either too afraid to ask, or you wanted to come to a team, a unit, a community that knows exactly what they're talking about when it comes to those things. So we do have that going. We'll have a weekly newsletter that we wanted to start posting as well, to all of the members of our community who may be interested in knowing exactly what our next podcast topic is going to be. Maybe you weren't able to finish some of the episodes that we have, but there's yet another opportunity to understand exactly who we're going to be speaking with, what their story is, and you yourself can have an opportunity to reach out to those guests as well. As I said, we are a building community here, so it's very important that we put our community first. and we're excited to announce the launch of that website once again. Of course, there's been a few weeks that we've had to do some back of house maintenance, get things right, get things better, and improve our user experience for you. So now we've been able to do that. We're at a stage where we want to make this public once again and allow you to accessorize yourself appropriately when it comes to your fitness journey.
Oh yeah. It's just us taking the next natural step in this process of when you have a community coming together of like-minded people, and just building on it and just finding ways to integrate it so that everyone's accessible to everyone, ideally. We have a lot of guests on, and we know that there are questions that we may not have asked, or tips that you want to kind of have further developed and discussed, where these are opportunities to be able to have those with past guests and present guests, as well as ourselves, where we have topics and things that we may not have discussed as of yet, or things that may come up that we could present as a topic for conversation for future episodes. So this is a great opportunity to take advantage of, being able to just communicate with each other on a more deeper level as a whole. So really excited about this opportunity. Looking forward to getting to know more people out there in the community. We both are getting to know a little more about us, and us get to know a little bit more about you, your journeys, and just having those discussions and just in a very comfortable place. And why not other than in the Achromous domain, right? It's the best place to do it. It's in-house. It's one-stop shop for everything, where we have our place, and it's home for you. It's home for us. It's home for Achromous. So really looking forward to that, Jay. Super excited.
Yep, absolutely. We'll see. As am I, man. And the other thing too, I mean, I did mention the podcast as well, and this is yet another avenue that we can connect with our community. And I know I mentioned this on Instagram before. I think I might have mentioned it in a story at some point, but I also wanted to bring it to this episode as well, since we're talking about all things Achromous. And you might also be wondering and asking yourself why you should listen to this podcast. And that's a great question. Look, we're not dumb here. There are millions of different podcasts in general out there now, not just podcast hosts, which of course we have the tandem of Will C and JH Gibbons here, but podcasts. There are over a million now. So you have your options. You have many different options. Some great and some I would say not so good. But here's why we're a bit different than some of the ones that you may listen to, specifically in the self-help industry or the personal development industry. Um, Number one, when it comes to our guests, we do go through a rigorous selection prior to getting our guest on. We want to make sure that our guests understand where they are in life. We want to make sure that they understand that they have a purpose that they are working on fulfilling. And the most important part I would say is that they're knee deep in it, right? We can have guests on who can make up stories or say something that may have never happened or be looking at it from a distant view, but we decided that we wanted to bring people on here who are talking about what they're going through in the present time. So every guest that we've had on is currently doing something that is forcing them to grind, it's forcing them to grow, it's forcing them to build upon what they have already done versus somebody who is already there. And that's no offense to those people who have already made it, they've already fulfilled their purpose, they know where they're going, they may have something else they want to do in the future, but they're not necessarily sure what it is. Kudos to them. There are, like I said, a million other podcasts, and I'm sure a lot of those guests go on there to discuss those things. But when we have ours, we want to be closer to our community in a way where we're showing real people with real stories, with real growth, real struggles, real choices they had to make to get to where they are now. So that is the reason why we wanted to bring the sort of, I want to say, I don't want to say necessarily the entrepreneurial side of things, because some of these people may not be business owners. Some may just
Mhm.
have a story to tell. Some may want or would look for a platform where they can build upon their own community with ours and share their story and share their advice that they may have based on what they have learned in their own lives. So I believe that niche that we're in now is is so underdeveloped, and it is underappreciated and underused. And we wanted to shed light on a lot of the people who are grinding out there, that many people may not know now, but it does not mean that they would not know who they are in the future. And we wanted to be able to get them to share their stories, which is why, as we're always talking on these episodes, you'll see that both Will C and I mean, we're perfectly silent, right? Sometimes even our guests may sit up there and they're like, am I talking too much? Or I need to say more? But we want you to tell your story. That's the biggest thing about what we do here. It's about community building. It's about letting us know, letting our entire community know exactly how you were able to get to where you are now and what you're still currently going through, because we believe that is very important to your story. Once again, I mean, we are for athletes who matter. We are for people who matter. For anybody who has ever thought that they weren't important, they did not know their why, they did not understand how important it is to love yourself. We wanted to be that voice for you, and we still do. That is still our mission. That is still what our vision is for Achromous, to be that guiding light for you, to be that foundation, that source that you come through to say, hey, I want to start over. I want to get back on the right track. How do I begin? That is where we come in. We'll see.
Yeah, just visualization, and those pivotal moments where you take a moment to stop and reflect, and you face that sort of pre- presence of accountability in your life, and wanting and choosing to do something about it. Is this big presence of why we are as committed into what we're doing, because we recognize that there was a lack of this being done. Because the truth of the matter is, if it's something that was a norm that's been consistently done throughout and has been something that we all could have benefited from, then we wouldn't be doing this, because we would have been taking the steps and taking that sort of information that was provided to us and being on our way. We just recognize that this is something that is a need from our personal development in life, and just from those that we know close from us and from afar, and just realizing how can we bring people closer in a time where we need it most. um and just to backdrop on Achromous itself, we've shared this before in previous episodes, but the meaning of Achromous is colorless. And it represents, what that represents is, I think, ideal to what we do and how we strive to have it be a reminder that this isn't about ethnicity, creed, race, anything specific other than, the entity of whatever we're discussing and whomever we're discussing, and in that it being better growth and doing it together. I think it's important to really understand who we are in that sort of sense, that what separates us really from anything and everyone else that you may come across, and what keeps you here. As we've had long time viewers and listeners, where we refer to what we refer to our experience, because again, this isn't just our our opinions that we talk about. These are experiences, real life experiences that we have been through ourselves. We don't speak about something we don't know, and we bring on guests who share their experiences. And as you can see, if you have had the privilege of watching previous episodes, if you haven't, please go back and check them out. View the subject of what the episode is about and see if it applies to you. Give it a watch. Guarantee it would be something that will stick with you, and you'll be hooked in into learning more about yourself. But ideally, those episodes are a great example of experience from another to grow from, because we're not experts in what they do. Dr. Sandra Lipinski, as you can see from that last episode, we're not experts in any storied avenue that she pursued in her life thus far, and the journey that she's continuing on. But it gives us an insight as to, the adversity we all face, and challenging ourselves to continue to pursue our greatness, right? Whatever that is and what that means is defined for us, because again, it's a choice for us to do. And we ultimately believe that, everyone is worth it. We're all so damn worth it, which is why we give the time and we make the sacrifices required to do this consistently, because For most, you would only see or hear us on a weekly basis. But throughout that week, there's so much more that goes into what we do on the back end. There's so much more time that's dedicated and committed to the development, to the editing, to the planning, to expand on being able to reach you, to being able to make a difference in your life because we're choosing to do so. That's why we do this. That's a part of the colorless movement. That is the Achromous essence. And this is what we want to expand on and spread that throughout the world. But we need your help to do that. We need your help to, if you understand what we're doing and you are a part of that and you believe in that, and most importantly, you have hope. We represent that. We represent what that looks like. And we do it in a way where all is welcome. And that's what we want to do. And that's what we'll continue to do. But we really wanted to take this time in this episode to dedicate expressing our passion, our emotions to what that is and why it's so important to us in our lives and why we strive and why we stay up late hours and why we push, sacrifice, and working full-time jobs like everyone else that you like our guests, all the Chrome's community, and everyone else that tunes in and listens here, while we make time in between traveling for work, between parenting. As a single parent, I tell you, it's not as out there, you can relate, it's not an easy thing to do because your time is already accounted for. So every second in your life matters. And we carve out time for these things because you matter. And in knowing that you matter, that gives me hope for my children. That gives me hope, I'm sure, for Jay, for his children to come, his godchildren. That gives me hope. It inspires hope. And in knowing that we're doing this, we submitted the legacy of what this has been intended to be. We're only building on it now.
Yeah.
So please be one of the few, one of the bold to say, I was a part of the journey along the way. And have pride in that. Take pride in you. Take pride in the Achromous. That's what this is about.
That's deep. That's deep. It's crazy to think about. But when certain, sometimes I sit and I'm like, well, I feel as though we are such a growing community, full of so many different cultures, different religions, different social backgrounds, and we've been able to connect, and we've been fortunate to connect with so many different people in so many different walks of life, singers, actors, right, just straight up business women. It has been insane, what we've been able to learn, through this journey ourselves. And I can only imagine for those out there what you've been able to sit and hear, if you've been able to take the time to listen to what we talk about. I'm sure there are many gems in there that you can act upon today. And there's a reason why Will C and I keep this without any cost, at least delivering these messages to you, because we're all here living in this world, and we know that this world is suffering right now. It's struggling to get through its own identity. And there's just a lot of anger, there's a lot of hatred, there's a lot of lashing out. So we wanted to create a space for people out there to understand that there are others who are striving to be better. There are people out there who are longing to deliver their purpose to the world. People out there who have a direction, who want to do better, and are sacrificing so much to be better. And there are others who are climbing a mountain to get to their own apex, and they're dragging people along with them because they can't do it themselves. So they're letting their energy be displaced and distributed to others because they want to see others succeed as much as they want to succeed themselves. And that is the unique space that we're in, right? This is something that we wanted to build because we wanted to bring people with like minds together, where we can develop a community who all wants to see everybody else succeed. Everybody wants to connect with the raw truth of how difficult it is to be a business owner, or how difficult as an introvert it might be to stand on a stage in front of strangers and tell jokes in order for them to laugh, or how difficult it might be to stand on a stage with millions of people watching you and judging you when you have a microphone in your hand, and the passion that you had for singing is now on display for thousands, if not millions, of people around the world to see. We wanted to get into those moments that those people have and allow them to display it for you in podcast form so that you may understand that everything out there that you put your mind to is possible. Any dream that you have ever had, you can accomplish, you can make it, you can achieve those goals. You need a path, you need a strategy, and you need to understand what your purpose is. And that is literally where Achromous sits with you.
Yeah. Yeah, we know it's a lot to take in of what we're sharing, but it's because we are so passionate about what we're giving out, and we understand and we recognize the privilege it is to be able to do so. And we thank you. We want to give a personal thank you to everyone who has been a part of this process throughout, from the beginning to now. Even for you who's the first time viewer or listener, for being here today, just give a sincere and humble thank you, because we don't take for granted your time. We understand time is invaluable. So every second of it matters. And you being here, which is why we emphasize so heavy on the phrase "you matter," because it allows you to, understand the importance and your worth, and know that others see you without even having to visually be a part of your life day to day, to see you in a day to day. You know, the most work you do for yourself is the time when you're alone, when you're by yourself.
Mm.
So we're just trying to continue to arm you with the essence and tools that you need to keep you uplifted, throughout your day, throughout your trials and tribulations, like we all have. And I can honestly say, thank you, the community. Jay thanks you, and I wouldn't be as I am today if it wasn't because of this, to have the platform to be able to grow with, because I've grown the last 2 years, so I've grown so much because of this journey that we decided to embark on together, and I'm thankful to be able to do it with my brother, Jay, to be a part of this. This is something that we've been avid about in different ventures for years, but to be able to take action and to believe in ourselves, to take fruition, and make it happen, and to be consistent with it, is a testament to our brotherhood and our trust in one another, our ability to see the best in each other, and to come together and collab to see the best in the world, and to help visualize and inform it, and to take action to make our dreams a reality. And we're doing it right now, and you guys are allowing us to do this. And again, we stress it is free to do so, and it's free to choose it as well. So we're grateful and we're thankful for this, and I think that's something that's not heard enough in this day and age, where everything seems to be a sense of entitlement.
Yep.
And I just want to reassure you here at Chromus, that's not something we take for granted. Um, and yeah, each one teach one, and this is what we're here to do, and we're going to continue to do. And this episode is about letting you know who we are, and also about thanking you.
100% we'll see. And a way that we want to thank you as well, is for you to participate in an opportunity to help us cultivate this community and understand exactly where we fit in your lives. Because again, millions of different other podcasts, and we thank you for being here. And we also want to make sure that we are serving you correctly, that we are serving our community right, that you understand that you matter. We want to make sure, and we want to put it in writing, that you do. So, what Will and I have been able to develop over the past week or so here, would be a survey. It is a short survey. If it takes any more than 45 seconds or 60 seconds, we're not doing our job.
Yep.
It's only 3 questions, and these questions will help determine the direction of the Achromous fitness lifestyle that we are building. And I think this is of the utmost importance, because we are giving the keys over to you. We always are here to serve our community, and that is, we are literally putting that into action with creating this survey. Again, 3 questions, less than 45 seconds. What those questions will ask will help us be able to serve you the best way we can. So once we do send this survey out, which will probably be Monday. Right now it's Sunday and you're watching this podcast. So if you're watching it live or is the first time you're watching as it drops, then Monday will be the day that you will see this survey. It'll probably hit your DMs on IG, excuse me, probably on Facebook or any of the other social sites that you may be using. You will see this come through your inbox. You'll probably see some questions from the survey on our story on the Achromous Podcast on Instagram and even Achromous Fitness. We want to be able to get as many answers as we can in order to understand we were able to get out to the athletes who do truly matter. So we want to thank you once again for being a part of this podcast, for understanding exactly what we do here at Achromous, what Achromous Fitness is about, what the Achromous Podcast is about, and what we are trying to build to better serve you. If you are listening, it can only mean a few things. It can mean that you're listening on Apple Podcasts, you're listening on Google Podcasts, you're probably listening on Spotify. Again, we thank you. If you're watching us, it can only mean one thing. It means that you're watching us on YouTube. And if that is the case, three things I'm going to need you to do right now. You need to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. So the next time that you see Achromous anywhere in this world, you would know exactly what comes with it. Goal setting gems, habit building gems, a way for you to start over in your life. And I can't believe I'm saying this once again, but ladies and gentlemen, most of all,
We believe in you. I'd rather put it that way because we know it's free by now. It's free to do each one of those things, but we're investing into you as much as you're investing into us, guys. So we need you to like our content, share our content, subscribe. Again, subscribe means that you're getting the notifications to it. It's free to do so. And we need that support because we believe in you and we need to know you believe in us. So please continue to spread that joy, spread those gems, grow with each other, grow with one another, grow with us. Let's expand on this community and let's really make a difference. Let's make a difference, guys.
absolutely, we'll see. And once again, we want to thank you for joining us. Of course, next week we will have Ronald Ray on the Achromous podcast. We can't wait to discuss her journey into music and see exactly what she's up to. Maybe give some advice to some musicians that are trying to brand themselves towards other cultures, other genres. I think it's going to be an amazing episode for all of you guys to be a part of. So we can't wait to get into that. And we want to thank you once again for joining the Achromous podcast today. So until next week, ladies and gentlemen, it is your boy, J.H. Gibbons.
We'll see.